everybody, welcome back to the Ants, the Underground Kingdom. Back with another episode. Happy to be back. Um, this one that I've been looking forward to, and I've put quite a good amount of time into. How I build a march and what I do to build a guard march, since I am a guardian main. Before we get into it, I just want to say how thankful I am for the support, the massive support on the last two shorts that I have posted. They're both over 600 views. One is closing in on 900. We are at 145 subscribers. We're getting close to that 150. I'm thinking we're going to have to raise it to 160 before the end of the month. I think we can do it easy. I want to say, don't forget, like, subscribe, share to your friends, do all the things. Leave a comment down below talking about if you want to see something, or if I've misspoken. I'm more than willing to clear that up and talk to someone. So, let's get into this video, get started. Ooh. In fact, I'm going to save that. I'll share that in a second. The biggest thing about marches is what ants you use. Obviously, that's what this game is. It's the ants. Now, most of the time, and in fact for me, 90% of the time I've played this game, I do not have the meta ants. I've used some wonky marches because it's all I had. Now, a lot of what you see here in the ants is people showing this is the new meta. This is what you use. This will win. Not everybody has that. In fact, most people do not. So what I want to go over is a march if you don't have the best stance. Let's say you've never been to Island before. You're just starting the game. You want to be a guard main. What do you use? Now, your basic ant for a guard march before Island is going to be Mimicry Master. That is what your march is going to be focusing on. Now, Mimicry Master is great last. Very good ant. This is where it gets difficult though, because early on, you do not have a lot of choices. Realistically, you don't. Now, what I would personally use is, let's see. GTSA is always it's always a surefire march, especially if you're not using any season ants. It's your basic march. Now, is it the best? God, no. It is not the best. It will be beaten by other marches, those marches being ones that are season, island, any of those. It is outmatched. Now, let's go over Mimicry Master. I want to say why I like Mimicry Master. It's not the best. It's hit or miss, like all the master ants. Let's be honest. But let's go over these. Let's go over these. All right. Second skill has a 45% chance to deal 255% damage. Now it adds 5% per special ant level, so that's 250%. So that is a 45% to damage, 45% chance to do 505% damage to one random enemy squad within effective range. Now, effective range, you can see it right up here, and this kind of gives you an idea if it's ranged. That's how far you can hit. So this is an ant that can be back row and hit your opponent's back row, which is amazing. Let's go on to fifth skill. You can see effective range of 4. It can't hit the back row. Has a 30% chance to deal 284% damage, plus the 4% per level, so that's 484% damage to one random enemy squad within effective range and suppress them, which means they can't move for one round. Now, the problem with master ants as a whole is they are unreliable. They're very hit or miss. They're lazy. And that's just the truth. Now we can go on to 8th skill, which is, it's alright, but I'll talk about the awakening, which is what really brings it into the light. Now it prepares for 1 round, has a 60% damage, 60% chance to deal 120% damage. Very good, plus 2% per level, so it's 220% damage. And that is for 3 random enemy squads with an effective range. Now it has a reach of 5. It can hit the back row. So that's to all 3 marches. Now we go to the awakening, which is where it gets interesting. As you see, at gold awakening, increases your chance of triggering the 8th skill to 100% for the first round. So you have your first round. This is guaranteed to hit, which is just great. And awakening, it gives your attack, your defense, and your health bonus on top of 20% skill damage for the 8th round. The 8th round can additionally increase damage taken by the target. The 8th round skill can additionally increase damage taken by the target by 20% for 1 round. So you're doing 20% more damage. Great ant. Now, SA-GT. Very classic duo. Very an early on duo. Now, the reason this works is because you can see the 5th skill, it silences and disables combat skills for 2 rounds. While this is only a 25% chance, it's still good, at least early on, in my opinion. Now, SA plays off of this even more. So you have your damage, which is within your effective range, another damage skill, and then 1 random enemy squad is suppressed. So they can't move for 1 round. So you have 2 ants going off at the same time. Now, why I say these are outmatched is because the percent chances to do this are very low. 25% chance and 30%. Once you get on to later ants, you can see that they are much higher chances to do this. I mean, you can go a full round without ever having a suppression go off, especially if you're fighting someone that has season, baron, jungle ants, whatever. Now let's say you've been to Island. My personal march, if you have been to Island, would be Leaf Devourer. You throw in Shield Warden. And we keep a Mimicry Master. This is a very tried and true march, to me at least. I ran this for a good while. In fact, when Leaf Devourer first came out, people were running it without the sixth skill. If you don't know, about a year ago, they changed how the ant skills work. So you used to have to unlock sixth skill. You had to have another duplicate to unlock this skill, which was horrible because so many people ran this ant without a 6th skill. So you have this march right here. Let's go over Shield Warden first. Shield Warden, you have your healing, 2 random squads, 170%. Pretty good healing. Now we have our 5th skill, which is 80% chance to deal 250% damage to a random enemy squad, and has a 50% chance to disarm them, which means they can't launch a normal attack for 1 round. This is like a evolution of SA or GT. It's kind of moving into that. Now with this, you do get more health. At 8 star, which I have it at, you get 30% more health, or 18% if you don't have 8 star. Now this last one is a straight damage reduction for the first 4 rounds. Its skill damage taken by all squads is reduced by 30%, or 35% if you have it at 3 red. I wouldn't do that, by the way. It's not worth it whatsoever. Now let's talk about Leaf Devourer. Leaf Devourer is, well, was the best damage dealer in the game. In fact, it's still pretty close to Harry Panther. Oftentimes, it does out proc Harry Panther for on Pango and other things and damage dealing. And you're about to see why. So it prepares for 1 round and then has an 80% chance to attack the enemy 3 times. Each target independently is attacked independently. Now it's 140%, 280, and 560% damage, which is just through the roof. I don't think there's any free-to-play ant that has that high of a chance and that high of damage. Now let's make it even better with the 5th skill. What the 5th skill does is it increases skill damage done, so it's just boosting itself and boosting the rest of the march. So you can get up to 100% extra skill damage, or 80% if you don't have a star. Now 8th skill, it increases Guardian Ant attack by 10% and deals 100% damage to 2 random enemy squads. So I think that's guaranteed as well, which is awesome. I mean, that's very good. So that's my preferred march if you've been to Ireland. And let's move on to Baron. Baron was a bit of a game changer as a whole, just for the guard ants you got, which is Harry Panther and PA. So let's go over PA, which is, in my opinion, still one of the best guard ants in the game. And it's been outdone, and I'll explain why in a minute. But 2nd skill is a straight up damage reduction for the first 3 rounds. It reduces damage by 50%. Yeah, 50% for the first 3 rounds, which is awesome because if you don't know, your front row is the first one to normally die. Now we are going into the 5th skill, which it has a 50% chance to deal 220% damage. And it silences, which is, again, very good. And the rounds 2, 4, and 6, it deals 300% damage to 2 random enemy squads that are under control. So I believe under control means it has any effect to it, that either being a silence, a confuse, or a shield, any of those, I believe. Maybe not shield, but what it does is it increases damage taken by them, but it increases the damage they take by 30% for 2 rounds. Now we can move on to its partner ant, which is Harry Panther, which is the ant that is tied for the best free-to-play damage dealer, for guards at least. It has a 60% chance to deal 350% damage to the enemy squad with the highest power, which is very good. I mean, that is directly attacking your most powerful march, their most powerful march, and a 60% chance to suppress them. I believe it is without stars, it is a 50% chance to suppress, which is still awesome. So with PA and Harry Panther, you are getting 2 different kinds of suppression. You're getting control and suppressing, so it's a double. They really do work together. Now we could move on to 5th skill, combat skill. In rounds 3, 5, 7, 1, 3, 5, 7 has a 60% chance to deal 250% damage to all enemy squads, which means it's just going to hit everything in the way. Now we can go on to combat skill, the last one, the 8th skill, which it deals 250% damage to 1 random enemy squad each round. So it's constantly going, you're constantly doing damage. If the target is under control, which, like we said before, I believe, is any kind of effect onto it. It increases the damage to 350. So you're constantly doing damage, you're constantly hitting people, and if you have a control, which, let's be honest, you will, it just exacerbates that damage even more. Now it gets even better, because with this jungle coming out, they have the two best guard ants by far, which also just work with Harry Panther even more. And this is my personal guard march, my personal march that I use all the time. Which, you have your two sister ants right here. They're literally the same genus of ants. Now, let's look at bicolor. Which bicolor is the evolution of PA. Realistically, it's just a better PA. So let's look at this second skill. In rounds 2, 4, 6, 8, it reduces damage taken by its squad. So you get that damage reduction that you got on PA. And it heals on top of that. So you're getting a little bit less reduction, but you're getting healing as well. So skill 5 has a 50% chance to deal 380% damage, which is very good off the bat. And has a 50% chance to confuse it. So that means it can't hit for one round, or normal attack. Normal attack target is random for one round. Now we move on to the 8th skill. Triggered one time per round, defense of all our guard squads plus 20%. And you get a healing effect. So this is guaranteed to go off every single round, so you get more healing, you get more defense. On top of that, it is stackable, and it stacks until the end of the round. So you can kind of see where this march is starting to get a bit overpowered. So we go on to onto MC, which is personally my favorite ant in the game. It's one that I always wanted, one that I wanted from the beginning. So here we go. Scarlet Fury has a 100% chance to deal 70% damage to the enemy squads, while our squads suffer 20% of the damage. So it is hitting yourself, but it is also guaranteed. Now we move on to the 5th skill, which is where it gets a bit confusing, to be honest. During the battle, every time all our Guardian Ant squads receive damage 9 times, which I believe is it's hit 9 independent times, which it has to be all your lines. A random squad gains a shield effect, which means it's immune to damage, and it deals 350% damage to the attacker. And the count will be reset after the effect is released. So this will continue to stack every single round. Now we get on to what I think makes it even better, which is the healing. It's a very good healing. Has an 80% chance to heal 2 random squads with a ratio of 150% and reduce skill damage. Now let me show you and kind of prove this. Let's see right here. I don't know who this is, but we'll go into mines right here. Let's see if we can find someone pretty big. A pretty big account. Try and find 10 plus billion defeats. That usually ends up going well. Nope, not on that round. No. It's going to be the one time that I'm looking for people with, I believe, that have big defeats. Okay, so here's a friend of mine. She's going to be mad at me, but it's fine. I'll explain later. But she's another guard main. You can see where this march really goes off. I'm getting 13,000 heals from bicolor, 14,000 from MC, as well as a few heals on Harry Panther. Now, they have a very similar march to mine, with PA at 2-star and a Hornet. Now, stats are once again very close. In fact, she does beat me in attack, defense, and special ant damage, while I beat her in health. So, very similar ants at the same time. So let's go on to another showing of where this ant really works. Here's someone that is a shooter main, a very, very good shooter main, as you can see. And this is where this march continues to excel, especially against shooters. As you can see, they have Deadleaf Mantis, a maxed Dolly, a maxed Weaver, and almost maxed Wise. And we do very well. Now, the last part of your march is going to be the insect. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent, completely honest with you. It doesn't matter that much, because I can beat people with Deadleaf Mantis, as you can see. People beat me with Hornets. I've had people beat me with Devil Mantis while I have a Scarab. It doesn't matter. If you want to increase your chances of winning, my suggestion is, if you are a spender, is just buy what's ever new. And if you don't want to spend too much, buy the last generation. They're about half off. I'm not condoning spending. I'm not spending now myself, but that's my opinion. Just buy what's ever newest, or the generation that came before, and you'll do pretty well. Especially with the stat boosts that we're seeing now. It's how it's going to go. But I think that's going to be all for this video. I've gone over everything that I want to say, the parts that I want to go over, especially how I personally choose a march. That's all. I want to say how thankful I am to the community out there, everyone that is continuing to support the channel, that being new viewers, old viewers. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share to your friends. I want to know down below if y'all noticed a difference in how the video sounds or not. I got a new microphone. This is my first video using said microphone. I hope it turns out good. If not, I don't know if I'll re-record this. I'll probably redo it. But thank you all so much. Been a great episode as always. And I'll see y'all in the next episode.